Elsie.
And I'm Debbie.
And we're two sisters Southern cooking.
Oh, it's Debbie. So we have blueberries in the freezer from our neighbor's bush that Elsie has put up. And we also have some fresh Honeycrisp apples. So we are going to go ahead and make hand pies today. But before I separate these into the blueberry hand pies and the apple hand pies, I'm going to go ahead and roll out my dough. So we are going to go ahead and make our dough from the Jiffy mix. So we have the pie mix that we use. We just add in between 4 and 5 tablespoons per box. I have 3 boxes in this. I'm going to throw a little bit of flour down because I want this I don't want this dough to be particularly thick, so I'm just going to throw a little bit of flour down. I'm going to make sure I coat up my rolling pin. And I'm just going to put this here and just coat it with some flour, and then we're going to roll it out. Actually, what I'm going to do, I have a bench scraper. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to do it in fourths because it's going to be such a big amount that I don't want to get overwhelmed with the amount of dough that I have to do. Always have a bench scraper. It's better than a knife when it's cutting rolls, when it's cutting dough and everything like that. All right. I'm going to cut these in squares. You can cut them in like whatever you want, but I think it'll be better if I cut them in squares rather than half circle. The Jiffy pie crust that you buy in the store, you can find it at any of your grocers. I find mine at Walmart. And I find that for 98 cents, it gives you such a good flaky pie dough. We use this in our pies too. But see how easy it is to roll out and how smooth it is and everything? It makes such a difference. All right, so I'm going to cut this in a square. And those scraps, I'll just add to the other dough. All right, now see, I have a perfect square here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going straight down the middle of this. Well, it's not perfect, but close enough. And this will fold over like this here, and then we'll have our hand pies. All right, guys, stay tuned for our next step as we divide up this recipe, because it's going to be blueberry hand pies. Oh yeah. And it's also going to be apple hand pies with a little twist. Stay tuned. Hey, so I've got a bunch, I don't know how many I have here, I have to count them, the pie crust. I'm going to go ahead and put these in the refrigerator while we get ready to prepare our apples and our blueberries. So stay tuned. It's going to be good, y'all. So we are going to get started with our blueberry hand pies. So we're going to do this on the stove as well. I have 2 tablespoons of butter like we did with the apples. And then we're going to put in our frozen blueberries. Now, if you don't want to do this on the stove, you're going to have to make sure that your berries are thawed, because you want to make sure that you're able to get it cooked, like, and where it's thickened up and everything. So, and I'm also going to do a taste test on this as well, and we'll adjust our sugars as needed. So we're just going to melt our butter right now. Medium heat. I have it on high right now though, just to melt the butter, and then I'll turn it down to medium. This is going to take about 5 or 10 minutes to be able to thicken up. It's almost done here with the melting. I also have a cornstarch slurry as well. I have lemon juice and some granulated sugar. We're going to do an egg wash with water on the top of it, and then we're going to sprinkle a little bit of sugar on it. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to be actually putting a confectioner glaze on the top, so I might hold off from doing too much of the sugar on the top, because that confectioner glaze is really going to be sweet. Alright, we're going to turn this down to medium heat now. I'm going to go ahead and pour in my sugar and my lemon juice. The reason why I recommend adding your lemon juice before you put your berries in or your apples in is because it will evenly distribute, and you don't want that to be an issue. All right, now we can do this. All right, we're going to cook these to tender. It's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes or so, and then we'll add in our slurry. It's going to be so good, guys. It's going to be so good. All right, we'll come back in about 5-10 minutes, and we'll add in our slurry, and then we'll be ready to let it cool down. And then we'll make up our hand pies. It's going to be so good. So it's been about 5 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes, give or take. And I just poured in my cornstarch slurry. And this is going to start thickening this up real well. You just want your blueberries to be tender. Look how nice it's thickening up now, guys. Look at that. Yeah, that's what we want. You could put this inside without cooking it at all. I don't think it's as flavorful as you getting all these flavors incorporated in a pan on the stovetop. And I think this is the way that it tastes best. It's gonna be so delicious, guys. All right, I'm gonna remove it from the stove, put it in a bowl so it can cool down a little bit, and then we will show you our next step. It's gonna be good.
Hey y'all, it's Debbie and Elsie. So we are back and we are doing the blueberry hand pies. So this part is a little bit different from our apple recipe. Similar, we cooked it on the stove just like the other one, but we're not putting any kind of cinnamon sugar on top because we are doing a glaze. We're going to do a confectioner glaze. This is really sweet. We do not want to make it too sweet. So a little bit of water, put it on your finger. Elsie is actually rolling out our dough a little bit thinner so it's not too thick. So we're gonna do about a tablespoon. Spread it out, close it up, and then we're going to put a little egg wash on top of it. This egg wash is 1 to 2 teaspoons of water to 1 egg whisked together, and that will be in the description box. Also, we forgot to do it on our other video, but we're going to have to vent these. So we may do it off screen, but we're going to have to cut a little hole in the top so it has a way to, the air is able to escape with the juices. So this is very simple. We're doing about a tablespoon in the center here, and we thickened it up with cornstarch slurry to make it nice and thick so we don't have to worry about it. If you get the crust from the store, the pie crust from the store, don't be overly worried about rolling out your dough, because your dough should be fine. Ours came from Jiffy pie crust mix, so that made a difference in how thick it was, because ours was thicker and we didn't want it to be terribly thick. So making a vent in the top, all you're going to do is just take a knife and just vent it so it has a way of having the moisture and the heat and the everything to escape. So that's all. And then we're going to put a pretty glaze on top of it. I think we might get about 8 out of this too. I'll make sure in the description box you see what it, how many it did. Elsie's faster than me. It don't take long to roll it out. It's true. They were pretty thin to begin with, but they could have been thinner. All right. Beautiful. So we'll probably get 8 on there. We can take the extra dough, put it in a Ziploc bag and freeze it. Yeah, we could. And then we can make some peach, or when peaches start to come into season, then we could use it that way too. Because we're going to have extra dough left over. We will. All right. Little egg wash on the top here. And now when your dough starts to get a little warm, it's a little harder to manipulate, so don't be alarmed. It might be a little bit harder to move around. It starts to get to room temperature. Put it in the oven. We're gonna bake it up. I'll put everything in the description box. It is going to be at 400 degrees, and I will let you know how long we bake it for. And then we'll come back, and when you see us next, we're going to be making the confectioner glaze, and then we're gonna put it on top. It's gonna be so good. We are going to make a thin confectioner sugar glaze. This is a basic glaze. Always make sure that you sift. And if you don't have a sifter, whisk your powdered sugar. Just so it is, don't have any big clumps in it, because it's so much easier to mix when it doesn't. And make sure that whatever you're using to put in for liquid, that it's also, I always make sure that it's warm, because it just melts a little better. I'm going to do a teaspoon of vanilla, and we're going to do probably about half of the hot water. I have a wooden spoon here. So I have a total of 6 tablespoons of water here that I can use. So the best thing to do is to take the back of your spoon and just push it up against the wall of your bowl. And it'll help to smooth out any clumps of sugar that you have. If you want it thicker, then add more sugar. If you want it thinner, then add water. So I would say I probably put about maybe 3 tablespoons of water in here to make it like this. Hey y'all, we're back. Look at these blueberry hand pies. Oh my God. They're going to be so good. Oh, look at that. You don't have to do it perfect. You just have to do it delicious, guys. This amount of the confectioner glaze was just enough for 16 hand pies. Perfect amount. We use what's in our fridge because we know times are tough and people don't have a lot of money to go out and buy stuff that's not readily available. Sinful. All right, guys. We will see you in our next video, and you have a blessed day, guys.
I'm Elsie.
And I'm Debbie.
And we're Two Sisters Southern Cooking.
Please like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you.